Good morning, and welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Congregation of New London. I'm Caitlin O'Brien, Associate Minister, and with me in worship today are Carolyn Paterno, our Senior Minister, Ann Kadlacek, our Ministerial Intern, Jesse Edwards, our Audiovisual Technician, Coming of Age Youth Cooper will be lighting our chalice, and Emmy Franklin will be representing our new members in this, our New Member Sunday. Also involved, but not present, is Tammy, who creates the beautiful slides that are so much a part of our worship services. It's so good to be with you all this morning. As we've been doing in this time of online worship, let's settle in with a grounding reflection. Today's piece was written by Norman Cousins. I've adapted it only mathematically. I am a single cell in a body of nearly 8 billion cells. The body is humankind. I am a single cell. My needs are individual, but they are not unique. I am interlocked with other human beings in the consequences of our actions, thoughts, and feelings. I will work for human unity and human peace, for a moral order in harmony with the order of the universe. Together we share the quest for a society of the whole equal to our needs, a society in which we need not live beneath our moral capacity, and in which justice has a life of its own. We are single cells in a body of nearly 8 billion cells. The body is humankind. Blessed be. On this, our Membership Sunday, as we celebrate our interconnectedness, we welcome you to All Souls, where all souls are welcome. You are joyfully called to worship. Reverend Carolyn will lead us in singing our opening hymn, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
We will light our chalice this morning, as we do each week, as a reminder of our deepest aspirations and values, those of freedom and courage. We are joined this morning by Cooper, who is part of our Coming of Age group. We're so happy to have you, Cooper. And so Cooper will light the chalice, so to speak. It's magic. And the rest of us We'll read the words that are printed before us. When we spread wide the mission to care, to welcome and to seek justice, all the world becomes our home, and all the earth's people become one. When we remember that we belong to each other, then peace is possible. You may pass the flame, Cooper. Each Sunday, we light a candle of gratitude as well. And this Sunday, Anne will share that with us. Anne.
This morning, we light our candle of gratitude for truth. Those who seek it and those who speak it. This candle is for the free press enshrined in our Constitution, and those journalists and photojournalists who continue to uphold that right and that responsibility. It is for the scientists and the doctors and nurses who continue their heroic efforts to understand this virus, to limit its impact, and who continue to speak the truth about this new reality to all of us, even when that truth is not what anyone wishes to hear. We are grateful for these dedicated and courageous souls and the essential work they do.
Thank you, Anne, and thank you, Cooper. It is indeed New Members Sunday here at All Souls. Typically on New Members Sunday, we gather, there is excitement in Unity Hall. All of those who have signed the membership book that I have here with me this morning gather up front on the chancel. They are each introduced, they sign this book, and then there is what we call the Gauntlet of Hugs, where usually congregational leaders greet those who have deepened their commitment to All Souls and Unitarian Universalism. There is covenanting together as a congregation, and then there is always cake. Maria, for one, has shared that she has baked a cake to celebrate and she will be imbibing after the service. She texted me at 4:30 this morning to remind me that she was doing so. Thank you for that, Maria. But it is a day of celebration, and indeed, we do celebrate in this new way. We celebrate all who have come forward in this unusual time to make a commitment to something that is new in this new time. I'll be reflecting on that in a moment. I also want to thank Lynn Tavermina and Perry Montrose, both of whom worked so hard to make this service reflective of what it has always been in All Souls' long history. Thank you to Lynn and Perry. And so we honor those who I hope you saw pictured in our mission roll at the start. We have Sean Elliott to thank once again for his beautiful photographs taken on the day when so many signed the book. Thank you, Sean. And thank you to all of these who will now be named for signing this book with such joy. And so we honor Janet Beebe, Susan Beebe, Susan Borgie, Jessica Cerullo, Jessie Edwards, Lisa England, Peggy Sheehan Flood, Emmy Franklin, Martha McKeon, David Padilla, Nikki Padilla, David Platt, Cassandra Platt, Kellen Randall, Courtney Scruggs, Glenn Stevens, Anna P. Sussler, Russell Town, and Catherine Wright. To all 19 of you, we are so grateful that you are here and part of All Souls. We are a covenantal and not a creedal faith tradition, and so we will enter into covenant together. Now, although Emmy Franklin formally became a member just this past year in 2020, she grew up in this congregation's loving embrace. And so we thought it fitting to invite Emmy to speak our covenant on behalf of all of the new members. And Caitlin will speak on behalf of the congregation. The covenant will be shared with all, and we hope all will speak it together wherever you are.
Yes, I invite the congregation to join me from home. We, the members of All Souls Unitarian Universalist Congregation, gratefully acknowledge your choice to join with us in our religious life.
As I become a member of this congregation, I am aware of the responsibilities my membership brings.
In our faith, each holds a piece of truth. Each has gifts to offer. We covenant to learn from and with you.
I bring to this congregation my talents and shortcomings, my enthusiasms and my doubts. I covenant to learn from and with you. Today, we renew our commitment to our beloved community. May the covenant of our liberal religious tradition shine as a beacon beyond these walls. May the truth we each hold in our hearts light the way to a strong and loving congregation. May we faithfully engage in this great task together, new and longtime members and friends.
At which point we would all clap enthusiastically. Hooray. Hooray, hooray.
Blessed be. And it is my joy to speak also the names of souls who are celebrating membership milestones this year. Celebrating 10 years of membership are Angela Mock, Brad Mock, Nori Oakes, Barbara Plummer, Judy Bayan, Shirley Clarno, Gail Cooper, Liz Kramer, Phil Kramer, Patricia Holmes, Ruth Sussler, and Jillian Toth. Celebrating 20 years of membership are Tina Dubosc, Bob Bunting, Carol Bunting, Jan Johnson, and Eric Wingrove Hoagland. Celebrating 30 years of membership are Ellen Anthony, Andy Durr, and Gretchen Edstrom. Congratulations to each of you on these milestones in your relationship with All Souls. We are so glad that you are a part of us.
And I think that's a cue for another round of applause. Thank you so much to all the long-timers who are with us and work so hard to keep All Souls where we are. And yet we have one more soul to celebrate. And that soul is, this is a photo cue for Jesse. That soul is Jan Hine. Jan Hine, who this year celebrates 55 years of membership, having joined in 1965. I'm going to say a few words about Jan. Jan and her husband, Jonathan, of blessed memory, raised 3 sons at All Souls. Jan served as the newsletter editor for many, many years, where she brought to the task her considerable artistic gifts, which she shared with us generously as well in the design of many an invitation for my ordination, for one, and other documents that have still are so beautiful. She is a beautiful gardener and a gracious host for many a gathering at her home. And so, Jan, we thank you for being one of the stars at All Souls these many years. We love you and are so grateful for your presence among us. Blessed be. And now we will enter into a brief musical interlude that we may gather ourselves up in joy and gratitude.
Our reading this morning is entitled, We Bid You Welcome, by Richard Gilbert. We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit, seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith. We bid you welcome, who enter this hall as a homecoming, who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. So ends the reading.
Thank you, Anne. As we met to plan worship last week, we all agreed. Richard Gilbert's words are a great call to worship, but you have already been joyfully called. And in this moment, Gilbert's wisdom will serve a different function and purpose. I have seen you cross Unity Hall's threshold many times, and I know that you are out there this morning. Some of you are weary and seeking rest, while others come with a light step and hope in your heart. It is today, as every Sunday past. We gather wearing our hearts on our sleeves, and some of those hearts are broken and others newly mended. All are more resilient for coming to church and resting in a sense of belonging for the strength of that communion that is in part wrapped in a sense of belonging. When the peace is passed from soul to soul in the cacophony of welcome and greeting, when voices are joined together in song, and those voices join in song and the song goes off the rails, and when we start all over again or change the hymn altogether, or when the singing is so beautiful that we are transported to greater heights, when the children rush from the sanctuary to their faith formation classrooms, when we reach for hands in a show of connection and commitment to the strength of our communion, all of these moments aim to solidify that sense of belonging to a wider circle that circles round the souls who gather up together for better or for worse, in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health. A covenant binds us to one another, we of differing perspective and sensibilities. We are so beautifully human and flawed. And on this day, we celebrate those who choose to deepen their relationship to all souls and Unitarian Universalism, and the long-timers who have been steadfast these many years. We honor the yearning that moves us to belong to each other, as belonging to each other is a way to peace and goodwill among all people. Mother Teresa reminds us of that when she said, if we do not have peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. On Sunday morning at All Souls, we are reminded that we belong to each other. We are reminded that the real test of belonging comes the first time you find yourself disappointed, angry, frustrated by your fellow souls, or one soul in particular. Some little thing that just rubbed you the wrong way. And so you know that you were so right and that your way was the so right way. Your belonging deepens when your internal response to all of that is right, wrong, whatever. These are my people, and they are beautifully human and beautifully flawed. That's what belonging is all about. And as I say often, it is not for the faint of heart. It is for the strengthening of heart. And all of what I just described is largely about our being in that place on the east coast of our country, in New England, in Connecticut, in southeastern Connecticut, in New London, on J Street, in the sanctuary that is Unity Hall. But you are not there now, and neither am I. A few days ago, the Unitarian Universalist Association recommended that for worship and for all the ways that we typically gather, that we continue to do so virtually through to May 2021. We can be grateful that leaders at the UUA are grounding their recommendation in sound public health science and a concern for the most vulnerable. They are truth tellers. That said, 1 year from now, 1 year, I know that time is feeling pretty surreal for all of us, but I think we can agree that 1 year from now is a very long time. I'm going to pause for a moment so we can all take a very deep breath. I will not minimize the heartbreak that this recommendation causes. Similarly, we cannot minimize just exactly what is at stake: actual human lives. We already know that we will be live streaming worship services through the summer. That decision was made several weeks ago. Add to that live streaming through the summer that our building project is scheduled to break ground in October. And that means that we will have quite a bit of uncertainty and disruption in the months ahead. Through it all Souls leaders will be paying close attention to national and local projections and recommendations for when we can gather up again. We enter into this chapter of our shared history with the kind of humility that signals the care we have for our fellow humans. We belong to each other. together yet apart, and yet offering a wider belonging than ever before in All Souls' 113-year history, as there are many more souls who make their way to worship, to make your way to worship every Sunday. And so our perfect call to worship takes on a whole new meaning. We bid you welcome, all who gather here from far-flung places on earth, you who have found here room for your spirit. Whoever you are, and now, more importantly, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. Wherever you are, we bid you welcome. Because the joy that has always been generated in Unity Hall for so many Sundays was never meant to be contained. The joy that was generated within was meant to be shared beyond our walls, far and wide, because we always knew you were out there in the woods, walking your way to the holy. We knew that you were out there at home or in the hospital or the shelter. We knew all about you who are curious but shy. You who were wounded by a faith community where you did not fit. We missed you when you moved away. We heard you when you said, if only I lived a little closer. We always knew you were out there. And we know you are out there now. You who come weary and afraid that this brave new world in which we find ourselves will make obsolete work that you loved and did with pride. You who are mourning so many losses and thought, oh, what the heck? Maybe I'll find some respite there at All Souls, live streaming for my aching heart. I hope that you have found here room for your spirit to rest, space to lay down your burden, time to be reminded that we belong to each other in this wider belonging. We can now see so clearly that we are all part of a wide belonging that makes the circle whole. This worldwide crisis has served as a reminder of our connectedness. The children of our children will learn about this time, surely, and perhaps, and I hope, part of the story will be about the ways our connection and caring for each other deepened, that we gathered up more intentionally, that we listened more intently, that we understood and felt part of a wider belonging. And remember that in time, this part of the story will end, but the wider belonging will remain if we commit to remembering that we belong to each other. I will remember. I know that you will remember. We will remember that we are a single cell in a body of nearly 8 billion cells. The body is humankind. We will remember to keep the circle whole. Amen. And blessed be. Our musical meditation today comes from Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout. He is the director of music of our oh God, I just had a little emergency here at my house. Before I burn everything down, I have to blow out a candle. So, I was saying, Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout is the director of music at our congregation in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I had the great honor and joy of working with him on a worship service for General Assembly some years ago. He is so generous and so beautifully talented, and we have the great fortune of his music this morning. And so let us rest in the beauty of his music.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Amen. If you have a joy or a concern that you would like shared aloud today, I invite you to post it in the chat now. And for the next few minutes, if you could, please don't use the chat to respond or make other comments, so that I will have a better chance of noticing as many of the posts for sharing as possible. You can resume responses and other comments after we close the circle with prayer. Now, if we were gathered in Unity Hall, this is the moment when we would invite a financial contribution by passing the basket. In the world we're in now, we offer instead 2 new giving platforms that are available on our website, Venmo and PayPal. Contributions by check or online banking are also welcome. We know this is a time of anxiety and increasing financial hardship, and we invite you to give in whatever amount makes sense for you in this moment. Your generosity keeps the work of All Souls going in this challenging time. Let us prepare for this moment as we do each week with these words. We give to the work of all souls. Our work weaves the fabric of love called community. To this end, we dedicate ourselves and this our offering. The offering will be gratefully received. We thank you for all that you share and all that you sacrifice.
Each week we pause to pay attention to the joy or the sorrow that we experienced in the week just past. Let us prepare our hearts for what is shared as we light candles of intention. By email this week, we heard from Cher, who asks for prayers for her daughter Alice, whose father James passed away on Mother's Day. Susan and Janet ask us to hold their dear friend Sue in our hearts as they mourn the loss of her longtime partner, Sharon. Vic and Janet ask for our thoughts and prayers for Vic's 99-year-old father. They are by his side now around the clock. Betsy shared that Linda in New Hampshire had a fall and is recovering in a rehabilitation facility. If you'd like to send your good wishes, her current address is in the weekly e-blast. We are saddened to share that Pat Sparkman died Friday night of cancer. Her good friend Pris shares that she died peacefully with her children by her side. We hold Pat and her family in our hearts. In these intentions, we hear the tenderness of loss and the desire to lift up the lives of those whom we love, those to whom we belong. We offer our blessings and compassionate presence to each of these souls. Anne will now read the joys and concerns that are shared on our service chat.
Tina asks that we keep Alyssa, Chris, and Elliot in our hearts as they move toward the home birth of Tina's second grandson this month. Tina also is remembering a sailing vessel, Ocean Child, which was sunk in the Pacific Ocean on this day in 1987. Nick shares that his neighbor just lost his sister to COVID-19 and asks that we keep her and them in our prayers. Eileen is wishing Kiana a happy 14th birthday on Tuesday. Heidi is thinking of Jean, a beautiful soul who celebrated a birthday this week. And Jessica is sharing gratitude for the joy of arriving in a welcoming place. In this community, we hold together all that is in our hearts, whether shared aloud or held in silence.
I invite you to enter a space of prayer and meditation, tapping into your source of life. As we take a deep breath in and exhale, we remember our body's presence in this moment. This much we know: we are here. And we breathe in again with gratitude. As a familiar season blossoms around us, we strain to understand an unfamiliar reality. Let us find moments of grounding in the familiar reassurance of the season. The lilacs don't lie. May has come in all her beauty to abide with us in the uncertainty. Let us take in the softness, the fragrances, and the colors of this season. May they soothe us when we need soothing. And in our weekly communion here, may we find once again that we are not alone. Let us share silence.
Our closing hymn is One More Step. Please join Caitlin wherever you are in lifting our voices in song.
One more step, we will take one more step till there is peace on earth for everyone. We'll take one more step, one more prayer. We will say one more prayer till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer, one more song. We will sing one more song till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
We will extinguish the chalice with the words we speak each week. Our service has ended, but our work is not yet done. May our spirits be renewed and our purpose resolved as we meet the challenges of the week. Our chalice flame is extinguished until once again ignited by the strength of our communion. I invite you to place a hand on your heart and reach a hand out to the community that you know is there. We go from this live stream into our lives, into a world where lilacs don't lie and beauty is soothing to our souls. We go remembering the joy of the chat, of the greetings so generously offered to each other. We go remembering, most of all, that we belong to each other, that the welcome is wider than we ever imagined. And so go in peace, holding this in your beautiful and big hearts, and return again with great joy. Amen. 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 I have a couple of announcements before we enter into our beautiful postlude from Bill. And so here they are, things important for you to know. There will be 2 budget hearings held on Zoom coming up. One is on May 20th, this coming week at 12:30 in the afternoon. The other is May 28th. There will be information and a Zoom link in the e-blast. The budget is posted on our website if you want to take a look. And so make sure you look at your e-blast for all the information that you need. There's children's programming happening right after this service at 11 o'clock. You could find the link in the email that was sent out by Perry, or you could reach out to Perry at this time if you'd like to participate. We are starting up our food pantry offering again. We will be collecting peanut butter and jelly if you have it at home. If you don't, whatever you have is great. But we will be masked and gloved and compassionately distanced as we receive your donations this Friday at All Souls between 11 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. We'll gather that all up and then bring it down to Gemma Moran Food Pantry. So again, check your e-blast for that information. I want to share some very big news that I know you will be grateful to know and joyful to hear. The House of Hospitality that All Souls purchased and brought back to life several years ago, is now preparing to welcome a new family. This, an immigrant family from Colombia. This has happened very quickly, as these things typically do. There will be more information available again in the e-blast, so take a good look. But I offer my thanks now for those souls who have jumped into action to get the house prepared. Jocelyn, the asylum seeker from Haiti who had been living there since this past November, has relocated, and we wish her well in her new home. And we wish this new family well as we welcome them to Southeastern Connecticut. Next week, Anne will be preaching on the long view. I hope you will tune in next week. It will be Anne's final Sunday with us as her internship time ends, and she will return, but tune in next week. And finally, we wish a happy birthday to Caitlin O'Brien. Happy birthday, Caitlin. I love you so much and so grateful for your companionship and collegialship in all times, but especially now. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you, Carolyn.
You're welcome. Everybody have a wonderful day. Go in peace and hang around and enjoy Bill's postlude. Love to you all. Bye-bye.